children, it's me, Buckle Pocket, back again. And today I'm being English. I have my English scarf and my English sunbonnet, and I even have a cup of English tea here. Oh, that was not good. No, the boy made it for me and stuck it in his pocket, and he told me it was tea, but I don't think it was. It was some sort of a concoction of milk and orange juice and something else. I don't know. The boy likes to play in the kitchen. He's not very good, but we're working on it. Well, I'm being English today because we're going to read a story called Harold and the Purple Crayon by Crockett Johnson. And I don't know if Harold is English, but he seems English, so therefore I'm going to be English with Harold. And Harold takes his purple crayon on a great long walk through the countryside and encounters many different things and has lots of adventures along the way. So while we are walking along with Harold, I'd like you to pay attention and see if you can't answer 3 questions. 1. When Harold meets the dragon, how many teeth does the dragon have? 2. When Harold has his picnic on the beach, how many kinds of pie does Harold make? And 3. When Harold meets the policeman, how many stars are on the policeman's uniform? Let's find out.
If you were to write a book about yourself and your favourite crayon, what would the title be? Mine would be Buckle Pocket and the Teal Crayon, because my favourite colours are blue and green and I can't decide between them, so I always just mix them together and use a bluish green. One evening, after thinking it over for some time, Harold decided to go for a walk in the moonlight. There wasn't any moon, and Harold needed a moon for a walk in the moonlight. And he needed something to walk on. He made a long, straight path so he wouldn't get lost. And he set off on his walk, taking his big purple crayon with him. But he didn't seem to be getting anywhere on the long, straight path. So he left the path for a shortcut across a field, and the moon went with him. The shortcut led right to where Harold thought a forest ought to be. He didn't want to get lost in the woods, so he made a very small forest with just one tree in it. It turned out to be an apple tree. The apples would be very tasty, Harold thought, when they got red. So he put a frightening dragon under the tree to guard the apples. It was a terribly frightening dragon. It even frightened Harold. He backed away. His hand holding the purple crayon shook. Suddenly he realized what was happening. But by then Harold was over his head in an ocean. He came up thinking fast. And in no time he was climbing aboard a trim little boat. He quickly set sail. And the moon sailed along with him. After he had sailed long enough, Harold made land without much trouble. He stepped ashore on the beach, wondering where he was. The sandy beach reminded Harold of picnics, and the thought of picnics made him hungry. So he laid out a nice, simple picnic lunch. There was nothing but pie. But there were all 9 kinds of pie that Harold liked best. When Harold finished his picnic, there was quite a lot left. He hated to see so much delicious pie go to waste. So Harold left a very hungry moose and a deserving porcupine to finish it up. And off he went, looking for a hill to climb to see where he was. Harold knew that the higher up he went, the farther he could see, so he decided to make the hill into a mountain. If he went high enough, he thought, he could see the window of his bedroom. He was tired, and he felt he ought to be getting to bed. He hoped he could see his bedroom window from the top of the mountain. But as he looked down over the other side, he slipped. and there wasn't any other side of the mountain. He was falling in thin air. But luckily, he kept his wits and his purple crayon. He made a balloon and he grabbed onto it. And he made a basket under the balloon big enough to stand in. He had a fine view from the balloon, but he couldn't see his window. He couldn't even see a house. So he made a house with windows. And he landed the balloon on the grass in the front yard. None of the windows was his window. He tried to think where his window ought to be. He made some more windows. He made a big building full of windows. He made lots of buildings full of windows. He made a whole city full of windows. But none of the windows was his window. He couldn't think where it might be. He decided to ask a policeman. The policeman pointed the way Harold was going anyway, but Harold thanked him. And he walked along with the moon, wishing he was in his room and in bed. Then suddenly Harold remembered. He remembered where his bedroom window was when there was a moon. It was always right around the moon. And then Harold made up his bed. He got in it and he drew up the covers. The purple crayon dropped on the floor and Harold dropped off to sleep.
Okay, the boy has assured me that he has made good tea this time, so we're going to try it again. It's chunky. Oh, it tastes of spaghetti sauce. He gave me his leftovers from last night. That was not tea. Not tea. We shall try again some other day. Well, did you enjoy the story? And did you find out the answers to the questions I asked? Do you remember what they were? 1. How many teeth does the dragon have? Did you count them up? It is 7. If you look here and count them, 3 on the top, 4 on the bottom. 7 dragon teeth. 2nd, how many kinds of pie did Harold make? Were you counting or listening? There were 9 kinds of pie. Can you even name 9 kinds of pie? I don't know that I know 9 different kinds of pie. Maybe you do. Maybe you're as big a pie eater as Harold. And the 3rd question, how many stars are on the policeman's uniform? Did you count that? It's just 1 star. So that was a very easy one, if you were paying attention. And I hope that you were. I hope that you liked Harold and the Purple Crayon. All right, my lovelies. I'll see you next time for our next book. Toodaloo!